Hello, welcome. I'm glad that you're with us as we continue our chronological read through of the Bible. Today we're going to look at the book of the prophet Micah. Micah wrote during the time frame when Judah was prosperous, but basically existed under the shadow of the great Assyrian Empire. That threat was always there. Well, actually, at one point they tried to use him for a help as well. It's not that long now before Assyria is going to march through the northern kingdom of Israel on its way to Jerusalem and Judah, um, trying to devour Jerusalem and Judah. Of course, Assyria is not successful in that. God prevents that from happening. But Jeremiah does note that Micah prophesies the destruction of Jerusalem about 100 years before it happens. Of course, that eventually happens at the hands of the Babylonians, not of the Assyrians. Micah writes against the leaders of Judah who indulge themselves rather than care for the poor and needy as they're supposed to do. Actually, this theme of care for the poor and needy is the dominant social issue addressed throughout the Old Testament. And Micah indicates that the shepherds of Israel, or actually, Micah indicts the shepherds of Israel of Judah for exploiting and misleading the people um, rather than caring for them and teaching them as they're supposed to. In the first three chapters, God himself speaks as a witness for the prosecution, detailing the wickedness with which the leaders of his people treat those that they're supposed to be shepherds over. Because of this, destruction is going to come. And even though they cry out to the Lord, he will not answer them. For the very people God had charged with carrying out justice and teaching his will and word, well, they perverted it for their own gain. Now, as always, a remnant is promised whom God himself will shepherd. Now, chapters 4 and 5 tell of a time when God will once again bring peace and justice to his people. Is that remnant would be a part of that? A time when swords will be beaten into plowshares and people will once again worship at the temple of the Lord. People from all nations. God will gather his people from all nations and he'll rule over them as a king, as king. Zion will be assailed, but in the end, God will rescue her. Zion, Jerusalem will be assailed, but in the end, God will rescue her. In chapter 5, we have the promise that was quoted by the scribes to Herod when the wise men came and sought the birthplace of the Messiah. This remnant will be delivered. God's enemies will be destroyed. It's that way with the church today, too. The church is constantly assailed and embattled, but God preserves her and protects her for his purpose of sharing the gospel over the whole world or to the whole world. The last two chapters of Micah return to God's witness against Israel and against Judah. God has rescued them, but they are constantly unfaithful to them. God has rescued them over and over again, but they are constantly unfaithful to him. The problem that we have is not a failure to know God's will, but a failure to do it. Still, Micah declares that he will wait on the Lord. He will trust in his salvation. Indeed, the book ends with a testament to God's love and faithfulness and God's faithfulness to his people, in spite of the people's unfaithfulness to God, and how God will cast out our sins, cast them into the depths of the sea. Well, again, may God be with you, bless you as you read. And as I've said time and time again, I pray that these few words before you actually read something, or maybe after you read something, helps you to see better, understand better what it is that you're reading, what it is that you're looking at. I look forward to gathering with you the next time. May God be with you and bless you.